The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Psalm 121:7. These words from Psalm 121 establish the reality of a divine perimeter that surrounds your life. You are currently mourning a connection that vanished. You are weeping over a person who walked away or a relationship that crumbled despite your best efforts. You feel like you have been robbed of a future. You feel like your prayers for love went unanswered. This perspective is a product of your limited sight. The reality is that you have just been the beneficiary of a divine rescue mission. God is a Father who sees the end from the beginning. He sees the conversations behind closed doors that you were never meant to hear. He sees the future betrayals that would have shattered your spirit. Rejection from the wrong person is a promotion into the protection of God. He allows the heart to ache in the short term to prevent the life from being destroyed in the long term. The inexplicable unrest in your spirit. The first sign of divine protection is the immediate disturbance in your soul. You were in the presence of this person and everything seemed perfect on the surface. They said the right words. They had the right look. Yet, deep within your spirit, there was a quiet alarm. You felt a friction that you could not explain with logic. This is the Holy Spirit performing a spiritual diagnostic on the connection. God uses your intuition as a primary warning system. He creates a lack of peace in the presence of someone who carries a spirit that is incompatible with your destiny. You tried to ignore the feeling. You tried to rationalize the hesitation. But the unrest remained because God was whispering a warning to your heart. And thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, This is the way, walk ye in it, when ye turn to the right hand, and when ye turn to the left. Isaiah 30:21. God is committed to your direction. He provides the internal compass of peace to ensure you do not wander into a trap. When He removes your peace, He is effectively placing a barrier in your path. This internal agitation is the first line of defense, the consistent presence of unusual obstacles. The second sign is the persistent presence of barriers. You found that every time you tried to move closer to this person, a new problem appeared. There were scheduling conflicts. There were sudden emergencies. There were strange delays that kept the relationship from progressing. You viewed these things as inconveniences. You fought to overcome them. You exerted all your energy to force the door open. But the obstacles were the hands of God firmly holding the door shut. He creates a hedge of thorns around His children to keep them from wandering into the wrong vineyard. If you have to fight the universe just to spend time with someone, you are fighting against the protection of your Father. He uses the mundane details of life to orchestrate a separation. He uses the timing of the world to prevent the tragedy of the union. We are currently exploring the deep mysteries of divine protection. If you are watching this and you realize that God has recently saved you from a situation you thought you wanted, I want you to share that victory in the comments right now. Your words will serve as a testament to someone else who is currently struggling to let go. The sudden revelation of true character. The third sign is the abrupt unveiling of the truth. You were blinded by affection. You saw the potential and missed the poison. Then, without warning, the mask slipped. You witnessed a moment of cruelty. You caught a glimpse of a lie. You saw a side of this person that they had carefully hidden for months. This was a divine unveiling. God turns up the light until the shadows have nowhere to hide. He provokes a situation that forces the true nature of a person to the surface. He reveals the heart of the person to save the heart of His child. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Believe the God who saw fit to show you the truth before it was too late. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion hath light with darkness? 2 Corinthians 6:14. This scriptural mandate is a structural requirement for your life. God reveals the darkness in another person because He is protecting the light within you. Light and darkness cannot inhabit the same space without a conflict of nature. God allows the revelation of character to occur because He is preserving your spiritual integrity. He is ensuring that your yoke is shared with someone who can carry the weight of your calling rather than someone who will act as a weight upon your soul. The stagnation of your spiritual life. The fourth sign is the decay of your spiritual fire. You noticed that the closer you got to this person, the further you drifted from your Creator. Your prayer life began to wither. Your passion for the Word began to fade. You were so consumed by the requirements of the relationship that you lost the requirements of the kingdom. This is a primary sign of a toxic alignment. The wrong person will always compete with God for the throne of your heart. They will drain your spiritual energy and replace your divine fire with emotional fatigue. God allows the relationship to fail to rescue your relationship with Him. He is a jealous God who refuses to let a human idol take the place that belongs to the Almighty. He removes the person to restore the altar of your heart. The perpetual state of confusion. The fifth sign is the constant presence of uncertainty. God is the author of peace. If a relationship requires you to live in a perpetual state of maybe, it is from a source other than the throne. If you are constantly questioning your worth, your status, and your future with this person, you are in a state of spiritual static. This confusion is a sign that the connection is not aligned with the divine order. God provides clarity. The wrong person provides a fog. God allows the relationship to end to clear the air so you can see your true path again. He removes the noise so you can hear His voice. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Proverbs 4:23. Guardianship is a proactive duty. When you fail to guard your heart with diligence, God steps in as the ultimate guardian. He allows the confusion to reach a breaking point to force a decision. He permits the frustration to grow until you are willing to walk away. This is the mercy of a father who refuses to let his child live in a state of mental torment. He breaks the connection to give you back your mind. The lack of alignment in divine vision. The sixth sign is the conflict of destinies. You want to build a life of purpose. They want to build a life of pleasure. You want to go deep into the things of the Spirit. They want to stay on the surface of the world. You found yourself shrinking your dreams to fit their limited perspective. You were apologizing for your ambition. You were silencing your calling to keep the peace. God allows the relationship to fracture because He has called you to run a race that this person cannot finish. You cannot fly with someone who is afraid of heights. God separates you from the wrong person to save you from a mediocre life. He clears the seat next to you so that the right partner can finally take their place. The peace that follows the departure. The seventh sign is the supernatural relief that follows the exit. When the person finally left, you expected to be destroyed. You expected to stay in the bed of sorrow forever. But instead, after the initial sting of the departure, you felt a profound sense of relief. You felt a weight lift off your shoulders that you didn't even realize you were carrying. You felt the atmosphere of your home change. You felt your joy beginning to spark again. This is the supernatural confirmation of the exit. The peace is the evidence that the person was a parasite on your purpose. Their absence is the invitation for God's presence to fill the room. This peace is the seal of God on the decision. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Psalm 23:1. A shepherd does not only lead the sheep to green pastures. A shepherd uses his rod to pull the sheep away from the cliff. He uses his staff to ward off the wolves that the sheep cannot see. Your current loss is the work of the shepherd's rod. You were walking toward a cliff. You were cozying up to a wolf in sheep's clothing. God intervened with the rod of rejection to keep you in the safety of the fold. He let you lose that person so that you would not lose yourself. He let them walk away so that you could walk into your destiny. You must stop viewing your life through the lens of what is missing. Start viewing it through the lens of what was avoided. You are a survivor of a trap. God has spared you from a lifetime of regret. He has guarded you from a covenant that would have become a prison. He is clearing the deck. He is preparing the ground. He is making room for a love that will not require you to sacrifice your peace or your relationship with the King. Trust the hand that pulls you back. Trust the voice that says, "Not this one." Your God is a watchman who never sleeps. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. The harm you feared in the rejection was the harm you were saved from in the relationship. God's plan is still in motion. Your hope is secure. Stand tall in your new freedom. The protector has spoken, and you are safe in his hands.